Everybody, welcome to TED Talks Ball. Got a spur of the moment Tuesday edition with Rod Cali, my buddy, and I've been on the show many times. Rod, I don't even know if I set up your banner here, so I'm gonna have to do that here. I was just typing out that we are live on a retweet of the show, so people know. Also, just to get it ahead of the YouTube feed, so that or the Twitter feed, that people don't get stuck. Hopefully on Twitter, and they come on over to YouTube, so we can get maximum audience participation, ideally. But yeah, folks, we got Rod Cali in the house. He's at Rod_Cali247 on Twitter. You may know him from Sports Laugh and Chill with Gina G. Now Gina V, if I'm not mistaken.
Gina V.
Going back to her maiden name, I guess. And then also Rod has his own website for merch called rodcali.com. That's all coming in just a moment here in the banner. I'm terrible at doing two things at once, but here we go. There we go. Rod, so check that out. Let me know if there's anything I may have missed, anything you want to let people know about, any upcoming shows, anything you want to promote along those lines. Don't be shy. Shout it out, and let's get any promotions going we can to help you as we help each other here.
Ted, I always appreciate you letting me get on the show. Let me, speak, talk a little bit of football with you. I'm one of the hosts of one of the co-hosts, Sports Laugh and Chill, Mondays and Wednesdays, 9:30 Eastern, right here on YouTube and everything. Also have another platform that I'm doing. It's called Get the Belt. That's another one with my aunt. That's off of, outside of sports, dealing with just life in general, other stuff that we do. So, I'm a busy guy right now. Still doing.
So wait, it's called Get the Bill, like you're at dinner and you're like, I'll get the bill?
No, belt.
Belt, like the wrestling belt or the boxing, the title belt.
Right. That type of.
Or is it like your parents when they'd say, "Hey, Rod, you messed up. I'm going to get the belt."
There you go.
That was the one.
There you
go. That was the one I didn't like.
Right. I'm the one that's a little defiant when me and my aunt talk, and she forgets, that I'm grown now, and I gotta, she tries to put me in my place. Let me go get the belt. So that's where we came up with the name. But outside of that
one. Wow, cool.
Absolutely. It's just a little catchy name. But we on here right now. Let's talk some Niner football. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Let's do it real quick. Let's just say hi to some folks that are here. Jimmy Perez stopped by early. Give us a little red and gold, red and yellow, red and gold. That looks like Chiefs, but I'm sure he meant gold. Right. Welcome back when you get here, Jimmy. Got James Dernall in the house. James is coming to us from the United Kingdom, where he doesn't have access to college football, apparently. So, but he's a big Niners fan. He has some great takes. He's kind of new to the show, but he's been pretty active, and I think this is a good time for the UK. They're like getting home from work, having a little dinner before they go to bed. It's 8 p.m. in the UK right now, or 9 p.m. I should say. Sorry, and obviously 4 East Coast. So we got 49er Jeff in the house saying, "What's up, fellas? What's up, Niner Jeff? Thanks for joining." And we got Barry, a baller 18, Eric Price in the house. Awesome content creator. He was just on with Aaron earlier this week, my co-host for First and Ted. So that must have been last night. So welcome, Eric. Don't hold back. Give us your thoughts. Yeah, James says 9 p.m. in the UK. Awesome. So it's been a while since we caught up. I think I gave you your flowers for the Lakers beating the Warriors, but in case we haven't talked since then,
that's over with.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, that's over with. That's over with. New season coming up. I'm not even caring. It's football season right now. So
yeah, whatever. No doubt. We won't waste much time with Niners and Warriors unless it comes up for some reason. But most of the fans and audience, they want to talk Niners. Speaking of that, we got Jesus M in the house and Niner Gang. He's also saying Trey, strong arm. These quick short passes, something he hasn't adjusted to. We can talk about that for sure. We'll just get the rest of it. Pretty quick release. It keeps the chain moving is what Kyle wants. Absolutely, there's some merit to that. I think we'll come back to that because there's still some more stuff going on. We got Wise Soul in the
Wise,
house. Oh snap! It's
wise,
Rod Cali. What's up,
my
Wise?
brother, wise
Wise
boo.
is great. We're still trying. We've been working on trying to sync up for a time for a while now. We'll get it one of these days. But if
Wise
you
is a
don't
busy
know,
man.
Wise has a killer sneaker collection, and his studio is like just sneaks, walls of sneaks everywhere around. It's like a sneaker fortress in there. It's really cool. Probably works well for sound deadening too. Dual
Yeah,
function.
Wise got a nice collection. I definitely respect his collection. Matter of fact, Wise, I retired, so you got it, brother. You got it.
That gives me an idea, actually. We're having a baby. Well, my wife's having a baby in September, and we're about one room short in
Congratulations.
this house. We have a 4-bedroom house. My son has one. We have one. And then we each have a study. But like her study is going to become the baby's room. So this room will probably become her study, her office. Maybe I'll pop into her closet and do kind of like Wise does, and like put my Niner stuff up in her closet. It'd be nice sound deadening,
It would be
and
dope.
it's got a door that'll close. I just need something with a door that's not like some kind of partition that you can hear everything, and they
Go
can
to the container
I can,
store.
yeah.
Container store helps you out with a lot of that stuff. They'll help build you a whole, whatever you're looking for. They'll help you with the dimensions and everything. So
The
container
only
store,
problem is all these lights in a small space. I'll be like cooking by the time one of our show's done.
yeah,
No doubt.
yeah.
But I like that. My wife loves Container Store. We got quite a bit of their stuff in the house. Matt Ryan with Kyle Atlanta is the type of offense for Trey, long to long, medium long to long passes to Julio Jones. Unfortunately for Trey, that's not the offense currently. Um, yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. I just want to say hi to everybody here first, but we'll circle back to Jesus here. He's got some good points and some good talking points. Good question. I'm pondering myself, is Brock getting rushed back? All the reports say he's ahead of schedule. We're not likely to see him much in preseason, and the Ints are concerning. Um, a little. I don't know. Where are you on like practice stuff, Rod? I mean, are you like? I'll tell my thing after. I think everybody knows what mine is, so I'd rather hear yours first.
I think it's for me, as far as practice, obviously you're getting your reps. Both of the guys on here are both coming off of injuries. And I think the narrative that I don't like within the national media is how, you know, Trey has to do everything above the sun to actually get some type of credit versus Brock doesn't have to get that type of credit. He's playing against the ones. And for him, he can be rusty. What up, Dan? He can be rusty, but Trey, he just has to have it. And it's like we also forget Trey hasn't played, in almost 11 months. So now all of a
Yeah,
sudden Trey just has to have it like he's Michael Jordan versus Brock. He can be rusty. Everything is okay. It's allowable for Brock to be this way and everything like that versus Trey. He has to have it. He doesn't get it. He needs to understand certain things and blah blah blah. So the narrative is just out of control.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, as far as the ints go with Purdy, I mean, I was very vocal during camp. Lance had the best camp, and Darnold and Purdy were behind. With regards to the interceptions, I mean, what I say about camp interceptions is they're kind of like QB wins. They don't mean everything, but they also don't mean nothing, right? We don't want to just excuse them all away. We did that with Jimmy, and we constantly fell short because of the quarterback position.
Right.
So I'm not saying like you practice like you play. I think there's some of that, and it's not just the interceptions. That's the thing. It's like he had a lot of interceptions. He literally, I don't think, had a good deep ball, or maybe it was one good deep ball in all of practice. Everything was overthrown or underthrown deep. And then he took a ton of sacks too. So it's not just the interceptions and all. It's not just those three things. It's also the eye test. It just didn't look right. He didn't look in sync. Except for the red zone. There was a couple red zone drills where he absolutely crushed it. Probably the two best red zone drills of camp. But my thing is like, you got to get to the red zone before red zone drills
So you
matter.
mean to tell me that? So you mean to tell me Brock was holding the ball too long and creating sacks.
Yeah.
And you were there.
I was there. I made 9 of the 11 practices. The other 2 were closed to media only. So you had to have a press credential to get in. But everyone that was open to the public, I was there.
So Brock can get a pass for doing that. But if Trey does it, then he doesn't know what to do. His progressions are slow. This is what I mean by the narrative always getting switched and flipped, because it's like it just doesn't make any sense. But wow, this is just amazing to me. But hey, I'm not surprised. Once we found out, it was crazy because I put out a tweet and I said, does anybody know if Brock is cleared? The next day he ended up getting cleared for practice, and
crazy.
He went out there. It was just so ironic that everything just fell into place for him right at this time and everything. Shout out to the whole crew in here right now.
Yeah, let's get everybody real quick. We had great one in the house. Jesus was already here. We got Dion from Niner Game Podcast, laughing at Orlovsky, and all those ESPN haters, whether it's Shady McCoy or the worst is Emmanuel Acho. That guy is the biggest clown and Niner hater, Lance hater. Ever since he picked the Dolphins to beat us, he's just had a hard on for us, if you will, and he's going to take any. He's going to pause. He's going to take any angle he can to defame the 49ers, especially Trey Lance. So
right.
It's funny because his brother Sam's great. Sam Acho I really like, but Emmanuel, terrible player and worse analyst. So good luck with that. Everybody quoting him. But yeah, so Dion, obviously Gina here in the house, Sports Laugh and Chill.
What up, Gina?
What's up? Ted Rod, my partner. Jordan
Yeah.
Watkins, excited to see you. Let's go, Rod. Yelling it out.
Hey, Jordan wants to get on the show as well, too. Jordan.
Oh,
yeah? Yeah.
Absolutely.
See, I put in the call for you right now, Jordan, live right now. So
yeah, absolutely. If you vouch for him, I'm happy to have him on anytime. Just got to do, typically, Jordan, it's like weekdays, 8:30 to 5 on Monday and Tuesday, or 8:30 kind of 3-ish. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I already have set shows or obligations in the afternoon. But if weekdays, business hours works for you, especially earlier, those are ideal. But Monday and Tuesday all the way up till 5 o'clock. But that's an end time, not a start time, 5 p.m. So today you'll see that. What else we got? 187 in the house. Bang Bang Niner Gang. Usually it's a Bang Bang Purdy gang. He's a huge Purdy fan. So a great obvious audience member, very supportive of the show. So thanks for being here. I said I'm better than most ESPN FS1 analysts out there. Yeah, Jordan, I'm just not anything against you. I'm just gonna say it's kind of a low bar. I'm sure if Rod vouches for you, you're way better than those guys. So
absolutely, absolutely, I vouch for him. Jordan, my little bro got it. Trust me.
Yeah,
trust me.
Yeah, just very good. Yeah, so we'll. This week is somewhat booked. I think I could maybe do something Thursday morning. I think it's probably better to stay away from this week, but next week is pretty wide open. So just DM me. Are you on Twitter, Jordan? If not, you can find my email in YouTube. There's a email and the contact information there. So
I'll send him the info.
Yeah. Cool. So let's go back to Jesus a little bit here. He had some points. He said Trey is a strong arm QB. You need these quick short passes he hasn't adjusted to. Well, Jesus, I don't know if you watched the game, but there was a really nice touch pass that Lance threw to Jordan Mason, and Jordan Mason turned his head upfield before the ball got there and he dropped it. So, I think that narrative is a little overplayed. I mean, definitely I will say in camp, Lance was the worst short ball thrower, but it got better, and I think it will continue to get better. And then he had this follow-up statement. He said, Purdy's quick release, it keeps the chain moving. What Kyle wants. Honestly, Purdy wasn't that quick of a release in camp. He's known to be accurate. We haven't really seen that, especially in the deep balls, as I already mentioned. But, the thing it just comes down to for me is like everything that Purdy does well, Lance can learn to do, except for Purdy's quickness. That's like Purdy's one elite physical trait is his quickness. Other than that, he has a limited arm, limited height, and limited top speed. And when you have that limited arm and limited top speed, you basically bring 2 more defenders into the box. You have, most of the time, teams are playing one high safety against Purdy. They got another safety. The strong safety is usually in the box, which is going to limit your running, limit your yak on short and intermediate passes. And then with Lance's legs, he's not as quick as Purdy, but he gets going a lot faster. And once he gets going, you have to assign a defender to spy him, or he's going to run all over you. And that basically takes one of the remaining defenders. There's one less defender in the box from the safety being back to guard against the deep throws. Then there's the one of the ones that's there has to have his eyes on Lance, not on Debo, Kittle, Ayuk, CMC, whether that's catching or running. It just gives everybody a split second advantage over those linebackers who are whichever, or it's usually a linebacker that's spying Lance. So that's sort of my thing. I mean, I think people have, I don't know, I said Stockholm syndrome before, where I feel like people have fallen in love with their captor, as far as we're so used to sort of mid QB play that we've decided that that's all you need. But how many rings have we won with Dinkin and Duncan? The answer is none. So, I mean, I think whoever said Matt Ryan, I think there was Jesus also. Yeah, I mean, we don't have Julio, but Ayuk is actually a deep threat receiver, and we just don't know it yet, folks, because he's been running wide open deep for many plays, and Jimmy just flat ignored him. Purdy got him the ball a few times, but quite a few times you could see him just stop and wait for it. It's not ideal what's going on. Kittle is a deep threat tight end, folks. We saw it in 2018. He's still just every bit as fast as he used to be. And then obviously like someone like a Danny Gray, you just really can't even use them when you've got Purdy and Jimmy as your quarterbacks. So, anyway, I've been going on for a while, but I'd love to get your thoughts, Rod.
I agree with you. I feel like Brock has poise. We all see that. We all have noticed that. The anticipation throws that he has, those are great as well. My thing is with Brock Purdy is, can he throw the anticipation passes to the sideline and they get there? That's the part that we're nervous about, because now we're dealing with this elbow. We don't know how strong it is and everything. Of course, every year it's always going to be, oh, I'm fine. Oh, I'm good to go. Blase, blase. We heard 2 years from Trey that, he was fine. And all the time he was working with a finger injury. So, a lot of the stuff will always get patched up to say, well, he's fine. Oh, he's good. He should be able to do stuff, knowing doggone well that they're actually not good to go. And I feel like with Brock, I hope they didn't rush him back. It seems like he got rushed back, but we don't know. I mean, he's been consistent even since when he was in college. At Iowa State, he was throwing interceptions and being the gunslinger and everything like that. So a bunch of these passes that he throws hasn't changed. You know what I mean? His game style has not changed. So we'll see what happens this year. There's tape out there. Granted, we all understand and know that he goes against the number one defense that we think, of this season. He goes against them every day. So we just hope that the rest of the league, the league's defense is not as capable of being a number one type defense like ours. So that's the thing. That's the hope. And then if he can create the plays like he did last year, let me ask you this question. Do you think that we'll average the same amount of points with Brock this season versus last year?
Absolutely not. Yeah,
I think the same way.
Well, real quick, I just want to address this real quick. James Journal said the standard are the same. They're both mid. I mean, I don't think Lance is mid yet, if I'm being honest. Like, I just see potential in Lance. But we haven't seen Lance with CMC, right, at all. And we've barely seen him with Kittle. That O-line he played behind the other day was ridiculous. But remind me, it was something similar to that we were talking about. You were just saying...
Okay, let me just say this. But even with the garbage offensive line that he played behind, look at the numbers that he still put up. He was under duress the entire time that he was playing. So I think that for him to play, and people were going to say, this is, he played against the second string defense with the Raiders. This is the league at the end of the day. So for him to be as rusty as he is, and I think he played all right. I'm not giving him, he played great. He didn't play poor either. I just think he played all right.
I
For
give him a C
him
plus.
actually seeing live bullets coming at him this time and playing the way that he did, I think he did all right. He did okay. So, if he can understand what he's looking at, trust what he sees, and just go for it. That's my thing. Stop second guessing what you see. Throw it, make it like he had an out to Conley on one play. He should have threw it. You know what I'm saying? But he held on to the ball. So both of these quarterbacks hold on to the ball. So it's I don't know. It's just up in the air. This is my year that this all goes on to that guy Kyle. We'll see
Yeah,
what he does.
me
That's just
too.
my
Me
biggest
too.
thing.
Because I've been
You need
pointing
to
out
be
his
right.
QB mistakes, and people are like, "Well, there's this excuse, and there's that excuse," and da da da. I'm like, ultimately, we're rolling into the seventh season. QB's either unsettled or we're settled on the guy who was mid before he injured his throwing arm, has been worse since. I'm not saying
Yep.
he will stay worse. I hope he doesn't. It
Right.
makes sense. And I guess that brings up one thing, like you were saying, like that we're giving Brock more of a pass. It kind of makes sense in a way because Lance had his last surgery, back in, was it January or December, when he had the revision to take the hardware out of his ankle. And it's just a much more straightforward healing process with the ankle. It's like a broken bone. It heals in unless there was some kind of mistake, he should be totally fine.
Right.
It wasn't like the tibia broke; it was the fibula. So it's just a small non-weight bearing bone in the back, kind of like a chicken wing almost, even smaller. So anyway, but Purdy's was more recent, and I think part of it is they just think he's going to get back to what he was, and he might. I think when we look at the timetables, originally it was sort of right around now that they thought he would be cleared to play, and then they're like, oh, but will he have time to get ready before week one? And now he's been granted about 2.5 weeks, where you mentioned when, I don't know if you know the exact date, but it's right around the end of July. I don't know it either, but somewhere right around the end of July, right about the beginning of August, when he was cleared to play. And so that was a full 2 weeks ahead of time. So that theoretically gives him more time to even be ready for week one. So I can see why they might think that, but I just feel like if we get to week one and he still looks like this, we're going to be like, why the hell didn't we give Lance some first team reps or more first team reps? Because he got some when Purdy was out. But now Purdy's
Right.
not going to miss any practices either, so he's going to suck them all up. And I just hope he earns it. It reminds me of last year when they didn't give Purdy any
Awesome.
first team reps, and he ended up QB
Right.
3. So it's like, and if you're going to tell me he was our third best QB last season, I'm going to disagree. I mean, as much as I like Lance, I think Purdy was better than Lance in 2022. Again, it's hard to say because Lance didn't have CMC. Oh, he also didn't
Right.
have Kittle. It was in a
Right.
monsoon, all those things. So it's really hard to tell what the heck Lance even was. But I mean, I think Purdy was better than Jimmy G. I think Purdy should have been at least QB2. Um, so, yeah, anyway. But yeah, I mean, I don't think either of them are mid right now. I don't think Lance has earned mid, and I don't think Purdy has re-earned mid yet. That's sort
Right.
of more for James's comment there. Explicit man, sorry. Stats show that Trey has been better as you receive more reps. Let's see how he does, like playing with the ones. Oh yeah, somebody mentioned that they thought that Lance should get all the reps in the next game. I think it was a great one. Yeah, Kyle should let Trey play the whole next game. I don't know about that, especially with how this O line is. I mean, I'd love to see him with the ones. I'd love to see him get more reps. I also don't want to see anybody get hurt in preseason. And
Very
there's a
true.
lot of defenders trying to make names for themselves, so they're not going to necessarily hold up like real defenders might in real games, in regular season games, I should say. So I don't know. I mean, I definitely want to see Lance get more reps, and he needs the reps for sure. I just would have liked to see him get more reps in practice and not have to share them with Sam Darnold, who I don't think highly of. And I guess while we're on that, I mean, did you see Papa's latest promotion? I mean, he pretty famously came
The
out and
Raider
said, I mean,
guy.
pretty much the kiss of freaking death if we're being real, right? I mean,
The Raider guy?
yeah, the Raider guy, yeah, former Raider guy, yeah,
Right.
no doubt. And
Right.
he came out saying Brandon Allen, we can't put him on the practice squad. Maybe we should trade Trey Lance to save Brandon Allen, like blah blah blah, just ridiculousness. And now he's saying kind of the same thing for Darnold. Everybody's like, oh, he's getting it from somewhere inside. I'm like, well, if he is, an inside source isn't worth a rat's patoo.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. It's ridiculous, these narratives and the way people run with them, and they just go, oh, well, it must be true if Papa says it. Well, no,
Right.
you already swung and missed badly. And if history repeats itself, Darnold will fall on his face in this next game with whatever reps he does get.
I
Do
just
you
think
think
it's funny
Darnold has
Go ahead.
earned QB2 reps? I mean, do you think, I know we like Lance, so we're probably not going to say that, but do you think in some people's eyes, or like Kyle is just automatically planning to give him the second string reps in the, like the first of the two of them between Darnold and Lance because of
Nah,
how he played, or just because Kyle had maybe planned to do it in advance or something?
I think it was planned just to see what he has, to offer. Again, I feel like Sam Darnold is only here because of the uncertainty of Brock. That's really my personal opinion. I think right before or right after the last preseason game, I think he'll probably get traded or something like that. Then we may keep Allen or whatever for the third, possible quarterback, but give Sam Darnold another, time to go somewhere else or whatnot. Personally feel that Trey's not going anywhere. Could be wrong, but if he is going to be QB2 or whatever, it's not in my opinion, he's not a bad QB2. You know, people we've been looking at, oh, it's not fair how Trey has been treated, so on and so forth. I mean, I agree with it, but now it's over with now. So it's like, okay, now that we have Brock Purdy, he's already said that Brock Purdy is going to be the guy. Let's run with it. Let's see what we can get, how far we can go with this. Hopefully, he doesn't look extremely rusty as ever. And my biggest thing is not to allow Brock Purdy to get to week 1 and then he finally gets to play. That's when I'm gonna get nervous, because now those live reps are way different, because now you get the guys that are coming in, your Watts and stuff like that. And what do you do then? Because those guys aren't letting up on him, pause, for those reasons. So I just feel like, hey, it's a recipe for disaster, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, especially like you said with JJ or TJ Watt, even worse than JJ Watt, and Alex Highsmith coming off the edge against McKivitz, pretty much going to be every down. And McKivitz's first ever NFL start as a right tackle. Scary.
Yep.
Just want to fall back to Explicit Man real quick. He said Trey played like a young QB. I think with this, he looked rusty, but started to settle down. This was something we saw in camp pretty much every day, that he started out slowly, and then as he got some reps, he played better and better and better, just like we saw in the game Sunday. So that's very consistent with what we saw in camp. It's just that it was a shorter ramp up in camp and a longer period of playing well. And part of that's because we didn't run the freaking ball on Sunday. We had 3 straight drives where we didn't run the ball. And then, we ran a couple times on the 4th drive. And what do you know? We scored a touchdown. Lance got some rhythm. And, play action doesn't work when you don't run the ball. People are like, oh, no,
Absolutely.
you don't have to run the ball well to have play action. I'm like, but you have to run the ball some. You can't just run it none and then expect them to bite on run fakes. It's
Right.
asinine. Now, and the best way is if you run it well, then they'll really bite on the play fakes.
Absolutely.
But, it's
I agree
crazy.
with you.
He handed me this article. He's like, it said, difference between 30 and 50% running makes no difference. I'm like, yeah, what does 0% mean? Come on, man. Come on. Just the people. It's like these people do stuff where they know they're wrong, but they have something that looks like they're right, and they just post it anyway. And I'm just like, I don't understand. I just could never do that. But anyway, real quick, got some new folks here. Randy Daytona House. Trey left school early and missed the year of COVID. Was redshirted. Be hard to get back to that, I guess. Former division food. Yikes. Brock may not be the same. Yeah. Trey redshirted his freshman year. He played his, sophomore year. And then his junior year was COVID, and then he came out after that. And then, you only played a couple of games in a couple and a half in 2021 and one and a quarter in 2022. And it's been almost a year since that. So, I mean, really tackle football games, if you're only kind of, regular season in this preseason game, it's like 6 games in the last 3 years. Or 7 in the last 4, counting that one COVID. So yeah, it's crazy little, and that's why you got to be patient, and you can't write this kid off until I'm saying at least the end of 2024. I want to see at least 2 full seasons before I write him off. And clearly, this won't be a full season if like what we're hearing is right, that Purdy is number 1 no matter what. That's why I named my other show for today Operation Prop Up Purdy. Is in full swing or something along those lines. I forget the exact wording. But, it's just like, it just seems like Kyle's doing everything he can to make it look like Purdy's the right guy, even if he isn't. So, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see here. As far as, I just realized something. Go ahead for a second, Rod. I'll be right with you.
Yeah, I'm looking at Judd. He said, "Don't blame running the ball." He was giving Trey quick rhythm passes, quick throws to get him going. If Trey didn't get sacked on the first down, maybe they run it hard from behind the chains. I hear excuses. Oh, okay. I don't understand that. I mean, if you don't run the ball at all, what are defenses looking at? They're just teeing off, hey, we'll just send a blitz at a quarterback.
Yep.
I don't know. That's just common football, I guess. Maybe tell me I'm wrong, Jordan, on that then. If I don't understand it then.
We are a run-first team. We run to set up the pass.
Right. And that just doesn't make sense.
You look at Darnold, he had 9 runs and 8 passes. And you look at Lance, it was like 20 passes and 8 runs. But the big thing was 3 drives in a row with no runs. And then the 4th drive, like I said, 2 to start it and 1 in the middle and a TD is the end result. So tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. There's no way. You can't. It's common sense. And I'm not the only one saying it. So we got Judge Shuttle. He said Greg Papa was on the radio. He said Darnold obviously better than Trey, but the 49ers are evaluating Allen for the QB spot. Not QB. I mean, okay. Papa already said Brandon Allen was better than Trey and trade Trey. He's totally invalid in my opinion. I don't listen to anything Papa says anymore. Not that I ever really listened to him in the first place, I'll be honest. Don't really care for his announcing much either. And he needs to get a new mic that doesn't have a rubber band on it. It looks pretty janky. KMBR needs to pony up, get him a new mic that doesn't look like it's like duct taped on there or something, duct tape and crazy glue. Fix most anything. Says Trey PSR 117. Yeah, I mean stats can be misleading. Obviously the TD pass could have been an interception. Some say should have. I think the way he rifled it in there and the DB
it was
didn't
late.
really get to it. Yeah. But the DB didn't all the way. It wasn't like right in his breadbasket where he could easily catch it. He was kind of outstretched
Trey
arm.
was late on the throw.
He was, and he threw it behind, late and behind. Yep. It's not good.
Absolutely.
Not good. And then, but he had a guy in his face, so that one I excuse a lot more than the one with the clean pocket later in the game, right before he threw what I thought was the throw of the game, that 20-yard frozen rope over the middle, where I was saying Purdy doesn't have this club in his back. I was like, Purdy made 20-yard throw, Ted, and I'm like, not like that, not on a rope. Purdy does not have that. He will never make that throw. I will go ahead and just say it. Purdy will never make that 20-yard laser throw that Lance made. I said it right when it happened. I was watching with my dad. I was like, Purdy will never make that throw. I mean, he can make the same yardage, but it's going to be like a little bit of a looping rainbow. It will not get there as fast, and just not the same. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
Randy Trent says everyone loves Josh Allen. He has the most turnovers in the league the past 2 years. It's not that bad. When turnovers you lose, the game's turnovers are really detrimental. Well, in Josh Allen's defense, he's got like Stephon Diggs and a bunch of scrubs. Not scrubs, but
yeah,
he doesn't have
not scrubs.
they're not scrubs, but I mean they're starters, but they're not like it's not like Debo and Ayuk and Kittle and CMC and and also Josh Allen is like running. Usually they're leading rusher in a lot of games in some seasons. So I mean, the guy is a stallion, and I mean he's my second best quarterback in the league. A lot of people like Burrow better, but I'm like, you give him Burrow's weapons, I think he'd do better.
Yeah.
And the running game with Mixon, the Bills' running game is anemic. So, I mean, I cut Josh Allen a lot of slack due to not having. I mean, they have fine other weapons, I suppose, but nothing like Stephon Diggs and nothing like what Cincinnati has, what we have, what the Dolphins have. I think the Cowboys are up there now, the Eagles. And these teams all have at least 2 to 3 outstanding weapons now. Great one says Trey needs the reps. Playing him the whole game would benefit him. I mean, if he could stay safe, I would agree. But I just don't. I don't trust our line, especially the second string of the line, and I don't trust.
I was about to say, yeah. And unless he's playing
trust
behind the ones,
defenders, not to try and take it cheap, to make a name for themselves. Yeah,
I wouldn't do it.
Playing grocery baggers doesn't help Trey much, but I get it. Well, they're not quite that bad, but yeah, I've used the word scrubs. So Judge Shuttle said he can't say trade Trey. He's competing for a QB3 with Allen. Yeah. I mean, I said for a while, I said we aren't trading Trey Lance. And then lately I've been just saying it'd be a huge mistake because Kyle's made so many QB mistakes. I'm not going to put it past him to make another one. I think he's making another one right now by installing Purdy as QB1 without a fair competition. So, yeah, I mean, one more QB mistake for Kyle. I can't say it would surprise me anymore. James Journal says, if Kyle and John were to stop playing shop Trey, what would we get for him?
Nothing. He hasn't put anything on tape. So nothing. Maybe a 6, maybe a 7, nothing.
Nothing worth it, especially the way we crank out third-round comp picks, like 3 a year.
Yep.
One more 4th, 5th, 6th-round pick, I don't think makes any difference. The only reason you would do it is to save a little bit of money this year, a couple or $3 million this year, and I think $5 or $6 million next year. I think it's 7 or 8 for the 2 years, maybe 9. Explitman says, any word on the Bosa deal? I don't have any sources, Explicit Man, so what you've heard is what I've heard. And honestly, I get so busy arguing on Twitter, a lot of times I'm late to break news because I'm busy arguing with the trolls.
Right.
As it looks right now, Brock 1, Sam 2, Trey 3, Brandon Allen practice squad. Okay. I mean, not if you're at camp, but I could guess based on the last game. Keep in mind with Sam Darnold, he played versus a worse defense. We were running the ball, and he had more time to throw. I mean, there was a stat that came out by Warren Sharp that said Trey Lance had the worst pressure rate, other than there were only 5 QBs that played this last week. So you think 5 out of 32? Well, that's not terrible, but it was 5 out of 75. So that's less than 7%. It's 6% and change that had worse pressure rates than us. So we're in, almost the bottom 5% of pressure rate for Trey for that O-line. So, and Darnold was around 28%. So quite a bit better. That was bottom quarter instead of bottom 20th. Huge difference. So 5-fold, 5 times better pressure rate. So Darnold had much more time to throw. And like I said, I guarantee you the Raiders defense that played the second half was not as good as when they played the first half. That's the whole point of preseason. You play as the game goes on, your players out there get worse and worse and worse. They were saying, yep. Jordan, Granda Biggs in the house, says Kyle did Trey no favors in that game. Yeah. Some people are getting mad at me. Like I said, the next show I have is called, I'm calling it Operation Prop Up Purdy and Full Steam Ahead. And I said that Kyle sabotaged Lance. I think he did. I think he he put him out there with an O-line that I was talking all through camp about how our D is deeper than our O-line and our weapons. Our O-line and weapons both drop off after the top 5 O-line. We got nobody good on that O-line, especially the centers.
None.
The centers were blowing snaps all through camp. And it wasn't just for Lance, folks. It was for Darnold and Brandon Allen too. And then the weapons after you go obviously Debo, Kittle, CMC, Ayuk. There's a big drop off even to Jennings, and then and Juice. And then there's a huge drop off after those guys.
Yeah.
And then obviously Ray's gone. He broke his wrist.
Right.
So I mean, you got Conley's pretty nice. He had a really nice camp, but I mean, Snead.
We always hear those names from one guy. We had Trent Sherfield a couple of years ago. He was that guy during training camp, and then we heard absolutely nothing the whole season. So, until people see it actually happen, let's see it.
So people got mad at me because I said Kyle sabotaged Trey, and I'm like, honestly, that's the way I feel, the way he did that. And they're like, well, Kyle wouldn't do that. I'm like, okay, then do you want to just say he was inept? Because it's one of those two. He either tried to do it or he did it when he tried not to. I mean, either way, it's not real good for Kyle. The way he called that game for Trey Lance,
That's why I'm on Kyle's ass this season. That guy right there, I'm on his ass all season this year because it's just because it's just no way that we can sit up there.
But with the quarterbacks, you got to doubt them now. I mean, we passed on Mahomes for Cousins. We didn't even get Cousins. We installed, Hoyer, CJ Beathard, Mullins. Then Jimmy played okay. We got to the Super Bowl with him. He did not get us to the Super Bowl, especially not after throwing only 12 pass attempts in the final 6 quarters leading up to the Super Bowl. It's only 2 pass attempts per quarter. And then, we lost the Super Bowl. It's not all Jimmy's fault, but I'd just say quarterback has held us back more than anything else. Then
I said Jimmy held us back years ago, and I stand on that. I said that before we even got to the Super Bowl, that Jimmy's holding us back. But people praised him. No, people praised him for that.
Yeah, Brady wants to come retire here, and we say no. He goes to the Bucs. He wins a ring. I think we win 2 rings if he comes here, 2021 and 2022. And Stafford. We try to get Stafford. Don't get him. The Rams get him. They win a Super Bowl with him. I think we win a Super Bowl with Stafford too. And then just even last year, like I said, Purdy being QB3. He was not our 3rd best QB. And some people say, oh, well, Teddy got better during the season. I'm like, we don't know because there was no reps with Purdy at the first team. Just like what's going on now. Kyle's like, I made my decision on Lance. And, Purdy can beat out Sudfeld, but never had a chance to beat out Lance because he never got to go with the ones. So we don't know what his baseline was. So we don't know if he improved. He said he did. It makes sense that he did running the scout team ever since Lance went down and, he was the backup behind Jimmy G. But we don't know. We don't know. And I like knowing rather than guessing. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good at conjecture and guessing and predicting things, but I'd rather know for sure. Why is our team run an outside run scheme when we don't have any legit speedsters carrying the ball? Is it opening up to play action more?
CMC is a speedster, but what do I know?
Well, he's not slow, but he's not Mostert, right? I mean, or Awatt, this guy we had in camp. He's not that fast. So I think there's some talk of going into more zone and trap and power runs, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it could be that they're getting that ready and we just don't even know it yet. But because Mason's pretty powerful. Mitchell's powerful for his size, and TDP seems like he's running powerfully. But we'll see. Run the ball. Hello, says Explicit Man. I get caught up here. Don't blame the running game. He was okay. This is one I already missed, right? You already read that one a while back. James Renault, you don't need a speedster to run outside zone, but you also do have a speedster. It's CMC.
There you have it.
I mean, he's not slow, but I don't think he's fast.
Jordan
Quick.
would know because Jordan actually played with CMC in college.
Well, there you go. At Stanford, huh?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But hey,
Speaking
what
of
do we
the
know?
Stanford and the draft in 2017, when we drafted Solomon Thomas, I was like, well, if we're not going to draft Watson, and I didn't, think much of Mahomes. I didn't scout him myself back then. But if we're not going to draft Watson, I was like, we probably drafted the wrong guy from Stanford because Christian McCaffrey was number 9 after Solomon was 3 and Mahomes 10 and Watson, I think 12 or 14. So, this man says I'm on point. Thank you. Appreciate it. But don't feel like you have to say that either. I don't want an echo chamber. I'm not here to have people say you're right. If you disagree, let me have it, and Rod too. We can take it. We have thick skin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good to have a good discussion. It makes it a little spicy sometimes. You give your young QB quick easy throws and rhythms. It's not Kyle FFS. I mean, it helps. It helps. And Purdy does that well, no doubt about it. Purdy. He's pretty good, or he was. I hope he can
We
get back
shall
to it
see.
again. I
To
really
be
want them both to
continued.
be their best and push each other to do
Absolutely.
better.
I don't understand Kyle's logic. If he's going to trade Trey, play him and let him get the experience. If Purdy goes down, I agree with this.
Yeah,
I agree. It makes no sense to give up Trey, but some
and
people
it makes no sense to give
see
Darnold
otherwise.
so many reps. Yeah, I think we might regret giving Purdy so many reps at QB1, and I think we might regret. I think I kind of already do regret giving Darnold so many at QB2, but maybe Darnold will change my mind. He looked better on Sunday, but there were reasons for that, in my opinion. Have you ever seen Orlovsky's take that Trey can't run Trey's offense? He's seen enough of what? Yeah, it's all. These are all haters. A lot of it's ESPN. They were wrong about Trey with Mac Jones, and they're just doubling down on bad take after bad take regarding him. The truth is that no highly drafted QB has ever been a bust after less than 5 starts. So why would Trey be? It's just he's TBD. I'm not saying he's great, but he definitely has traits that could make him great. I just want Brock 100% by the playoffs. We'll be fine before that with Trey and Sam. I just want whoever's our best QB to start week 1. I don't want our best QB to have to wait for somebody to get injured or not play well to get in the freaking game where we're going to lose games that we should have won that we're probably going to need against the Eagles or the Cowboys to get that number 1 seed at the end of the season.
See what's crazy is that while we're sitting up here arguing about Trey Lance being a bust and so on and so forth, there are people I know for a fact, and Dan the man is in here right now. He's a Rams fan. You see him putting in there exactly what he's saying. They'll offer a third for Trey Lance. Other teams are scared and are afraid of Trey Lance. They're not afraid of Brock Purdy. I'm telling y'all this. This is from other teams that literally watch us. So when people sit up here and they say that, he's a bust or whatever the case may be, I'm talking about other people, fans. There are a lot of fans that like him. So to just give up on him for nothing, it's not going to be good. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. It's just not a good move. It's not a good move at all. It doesn't make sense, but hey.
It's career suicide for Kyle. If Lance goes to another team and balls out and we don't win a ring with Purdy, Kyle is gone, daddy gone. I think that's why he hasn't traded him so far. I mean, I think, or he just is like us and he sees the potential and he wants to see, but I don't understand why he's limiting him so much. Maybe it's just so he can earn. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, oh, I just think Kyle maybe is trying to get Trey to earn it so that he can, win the locker room if he wins the job. But clearly it sounds like that's gone out the window too. So forget that theory. Bashing us says we're not trading Trey if Kyle won't showcase him properly. LOL.
Right. Yeah. Bottom line, you're saying afraid of Trey. All I got to do is look at Dan the man. He's saying it right here. That's a Rams fan. So I don't have to sit up here and make this up for you. He'll literally tell you this. So, y'all can think what you want. I'm telling you guys, if Trey falls in the right hands with the right offensive coordinator, it can be a wrap. What up, twin? It could be a wrap for us. That's all I'm saying. And it's not a good look, especially on Kyle. But everybody, y'all throwing the dirt all on Trey and everything, but y'all not throwing any dirt on Kyle. It baffles me. And he's the decision maker.
CG Ruthless says Purdy is a system quarterback, decent, nothing special. It's Jimmy G vibe 2.0. They're different, but the same. Like they do it different ways, but the outcome is about the same. Jimmy is much better on the first reads and better at handoffs and sneaks. Purdy is better at improvising in the second, third, and fourth reads, but the net result is so eerily similar. It's ridiculous. I know Purdy is a lot younger and a lot cheaper, so he's a much better value. But pure production, they're a lot closer than a lot of people. I do think Purdy's a little better, but it's a lot closer than a lot of people want to admit, in my opinion. So I'm kind of rolling back up the chats here a little bit because I got so far behind.
I got you.
Isn't a practice going on now? Probably, but I don't know that the media reports from these practices now. I'm not sure, honestly. Could be though. I mean, today's Tuesday. It probably is a practice, especially with a game on Saturday. They'll probably practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would be my guess. So Great One says, I believe Ted read the pass run for each QB, and with Trey, it was way unbalanced. Yeah, I think it was like 20-8 passes to runs for Trey and like 9 runs to 8 passes for Darnold, which is much more. Niners are 50-50 pretty much. If you look at our historical season plays, it's 50-50. We never have started three drives in a row with 3 pass plays each. It never happened before. So that's why I'm saying Kyle sabotage Lance. Or he's inept. One or the other. Odd. Behind this O line that we know can't block, we know it's trouble. And our second string O line's bad enough, and then we're missing Jalen Moore too. So not that he's any prize, but it was even a shorthanded second string O line. People are saying hi. I'm just going to we got Brooks in the house. Brooks Anderson, official BNA Music. Kyle sabotaged McNabb on DC. In DC. Oh, he called the O-line was, interesting. So Kyle's done this before.
True. Yeah. That is true.
John Beck.
That is true.
Oh, that's why I kept saying Jeff Beck or Rod Beck. It's John Beck, who, not Quincy Avery, not Jeff Christensen, but Kyle's like, go see John Beck, who did nothing to Lance's mechanics for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Good job, Kyle. Great work there. And some people are saying that they think that's what part of this beef is from. Is part of it is that thing we think Purdy will be back, and if he's back, you can't beat him out in preseason. I get that. If Purdy is what he gets back to what he was in 2022, you can't just hand Lance the job on anything.
Absolutely.
He did. But he isn't back. And there's this thought that it's this beef that Kyle went to go see Jeff Christensen, who's basically Pat Mahomes's QB coach, and they had a couple sessions together, and now Kyle's mad at Lance for kind of going behind his back or, not going to see the John Beck guy or whatever. It's ridiculous. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past it. We all know Kyle's a big ego. Like that's not even debatable.
It's Super Bowl or bust, period, point blank. I'm not hearing no excuses.
And Purdy, too. People are like, what does Purdy have to do in the regular season to win you over, Ted? I'm like, he's got to win the Super Bowl for me to be like, this was not a mistake. That's what has to happen. Sorry, I cut you off.
No excuse. No, you good. It's no excuse this year. None. I'm not giving Kyle one pass this season. None. It's Super Bowl number 6 or nothing. After that, I don't want to hear nothing about Kyle Shanahan again. He can go somewhere else. He can win somewhere else. Oh, what would we do if we don't have? I don't care. I'm tired of seeing somebody be here for 7 straight years and we not doing anything. Enough is enough.
Yeah. Great One says, you think Kyle calling 8 straight passes with Purdy on the atrocious O-line in preseason? No. He's never done it before, ever. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, none that I can remember. And I'd be shocked as SHI, if that's the truth.
Watch how many handoffs Brock gives when he actually plays with the ones in preseason, if he even plays preseason. Watch how many handoffs he gives. Because it's definitely not going to be passes like that. Not going to be like that at all.
So Jordan was saying that CMC is fast. I just think he's quick. If you just look at CMC, he doesn't have any breakaway runs. He doesn't like run away from everybody, and they just not like Mostert did. I mean, he's quick as hell. He'll break the line, but he I don't recall him having any like breakaway touchdowns last year that you would see with a
Tampa
really
Bay.
fast running back.
Tampa
Yeah,
Bay.
from
Yeah,
what,
he
30 yards out.
Might have been something
Yeah.
like.
I'm talking about like from the 20, from your own 20 or your own 30.
Nah.
Yeah, no, you're not.
He
You're
had
not
that. He had that one he broke on the sideline. I think it was against Seattle, but
Yeah.
he didn't score.
Yeah, that's sort of more what I was thinking.
If that was Mostert, that was a touchdown. That's to the house.
Yeah,
Nobody's catching him.
Yeah, we got Bottom Line Sports. I was saying Afraid of Trey. That was a while ago. But welcome, Bottom Line Sports. Thanks for joining. We got David McNiner in the house, a.k.a.
What up,
McNew.
David?
We're calling him McNuevo these days. So
Okay.
just a little fun stuff. We got Twin here. I said hi to Bash. Good chance that Lance wants out because of the runaround he's getting, but Kyle might be scared to ship him off. That's possible. But Lance hasn't come public with that anyway. So said the Rams were scared when Trey was drafted. I'm sure everybody was. So now they're all kind of laughing because they think
I don't have to make this up, people. This is why I'm saying that. Like, I don't have to make this up.
Got Lloyd Toussaint in the house. It's Toussaint. It sounds like a French name. Until Kyle Shanahan wants us to win a Super Bowl, we need to got the genius talk. Yeah, I think he's a genius in every way except for
Totally agree with you.
QB and I'm gonna say third round running back until TDP looked really good in camp, but until he looked decent the other day. He had the second run, I think it was, on that touchdown drive. Remember I said there were 2 runs to start the touchdown. I'm pretty sure TDP, it was the reverse to Bell, and then TDP had a nice one to the right side. But I definitely want to see him do it in a real game versus real defenses before I let Kyle. I'll look for third round. I mean, let's just call it third round players. Moody missed 2 field goals. Latu has a fumble after so many drops in camp. I mean, name a third round player for us besides Fred Warner. Like, I can't. Not that's real good.
That's relevant. Yeah,
It's lived up to that.
Off my head,
what you think a third round player should be.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's just crazy to think that way. It's like, man.
Yeah, this is what I said during the game, that Purdy was struggling versus that Raiders D himself, and then they're like, "Oh, he scored 37 points." I'm like, "No, not in the game. I'm talking about in the joint practices where he kept throwing interceptions just like he was in camp." Again, it's not everything, but it is something. It's not
should
nothing.
Be something to think about. Yeah,
not nothing. That's for damn sure.
You were there the day that Trey threw his interception, or was he in Vegas when he threw his?
I think Trey did not throw an interception in Vegas. I think he just had like one completion. He had a fumble. But again, that could be the center. Our backup centers were atrocious in camp. So
that's what
I don't have any clarification on that since that. One preseason game, people are panicking. Yeah, especially because all our stars were out. So then people are like, "Oh, well, Isaiah Oliver's no good. He couldn't cover so-and-so." I'm like, dude, if you got that line and our linebackers and Huff and Gibson and Lenore and Charvarius Ward, Mooney Ward all around, like, yeah. And we'll see. Yeah, hella overrated. No, let's call it what he is. The guy is inept. He never changed Trey mechanics in 2 years. He is trash. I'm going to say it. John Beck is trash, in my opinion. At least as far as it goes with Trey. I mean, because look what Jeff Christensen did with him in just like a couple practices. Trey his touch is better, his accuracy is better, he's got a quicker release. It's noticeable.
He was hitting the short throws on Sunday as well, but that goes unrecognized.
Yeah, exactly. Super Bowl or bust. Twin says.
Thank you, Twin.
Rick Diaz in the house. Shout out to the 49er faithful across country, all across the world. We got Carcast. Carcast, sorry, last time you were on, I played your chat, but I didn't get to say hi to you. Carcast is a content creator. Check out his shows. He does great stuff. Steve-O Supremo in the house saying making up stuff. LOL. I don't know who was making up stuff. I think he must be me. He's probably calling me out. But tell us what I was making up, Steve-O. We'll see.
Right.
DJ Ruthless in the house saying common mistake was not letting it be a competition. If Brock earns it, no question. Yeah, exactly. Like then we wouldn't have anything to say. But now we're going to be second guessing it every time something goes wrong. We'll be like, wonder if Trey could have done better. Who was the best 5 and worst 5 in the Raiders game?
You know if it was a 5 to say best.
Yeah.
What's the linebacker? What's our rookie linebacker?
D. Winters.
He's
Jalen Graham.
He flashed.
Cleveland Farrell. Cleveland Farrell was all right. Womack.
Jair Brown had a pretty good game.
Oh, the rookie, Jameson.
Mm-hmm.
The rookie corner, and he had a return that was called back, I believe.
Conley
was good. And Dwelly, yes, Dwelly caught the touchdown. You know
exactly.
That's a really hard to catch reflection like that.
It's not like you're saying too much to
I mean, Darnold maybe
that they played great games.
Darnold I say there's reasons for it, but Darnold was the best QB. And then like tale of two players, like I put him on both lists with Ronnie Bell. I mean, more on the good list, but poor Brandon Allen hits Ronnie Bell right on the hands and he deflects it and the Raiders intercept. It's like Lance throws an interception and it ends up being a touchdown. And Brandon Allen throws a completion that ends up being an interception. Like, shows you how the box scores can be deceiving if you don't actually watch the games. That's why I hate box score scouts. And people who just think stats are everything. People are saying hi. Gina's saying Steve-O. Got Bottom Line Sports. If you really think Trey should go somewhere else and ball out, you're a bit delusional. Trey could be the start of the future, but not a consistent top 10 QB. TBD, Bottom Line Sports, TB to the D. I'm not ready to write him off. He has elite traits, and we've seen flashes. He just needs more consistency. Can he do it? Some people just are like that. They'll flash greatness and then have head scratchers in between. Can he eliminate the head scratchers? I don't know. But if he can, Trey Lance could easily be top 10. Trey Lance could be top 5. He has the tools to be top 5. I'm going to say that in this league.
Did that since day one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we moved up together. No more excuses for Kyle. Yeah, he's definitely starting to run short. The offensive line protected quarterback this season. Go, let's keep it going. There we go. What's up, everyone? Bashar, Rick, CG. Yep, we're calling them out. New thing is you're not allowed to criticize. Oh, God.
Shit, me. I'll do that. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Kyle had made some good QB decisions, it would be a lot tougher. But make it tough on us. In this position, right? Make it tough on us to criticize you. I dare you. I'll never hate Jimmy. Helped us. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Jimmy. He helped us when we were bad. He just kind of held us back when we got good. That's the way I'd put it. I don't hate Jimmy. He never took us anywhere. He was. I call him Jimmy Luggage because we carried him. And we carried Purdy just a little bit less. And we need to carry Lance to get him started. But Lance is the type where I could see him growing into a quarterback who could eventually carry us as these great players go away because eventually you have to pay your quarterback. And I don't want to pay Purdy based on 2022. That's not good enough to pay QB money to, folks. It's not.
Absolutely. It just doesn't make sense to go that route. But, other people see it differently. Guys only want to
Only one team wins the Super Bowl. Can't demand a Super Bowl. Mahomes all want Super Bowl 2. Can't all win a Super Bowl. No, yeah, in any one season, Judge, sure, but it's been 4 seasons of a Super Bowl roster now, and we're 0 for 4. So again, you can explain away all Kyle's stuff one QB at a time or one season at a time, but the sum total, when you start to look at it, it gets harder and harder to excuse. I mean, Kyle's built great rosters, no doubt, and the players love him. There's a lot to like about Kyle. But he does need to get it right before too long, or it's almost better to just scrap it and start over with someone who you think can do it. But yeah, no, winning a Super Bowl is extremely difficult to do. No one said it was easy. We just have high standards here. Tom Sula's ghost put the fear of God. Yep. Or it's like, hey, you want Tom Sula? You want Chip Kelly? Like, no, I don't. I just want Kyle to learn. I just learn, Kyle. Improve. Nobody wants
Yep.
that again. I mean, come on. Lance went behind Kyle's back. Name your source. Tea leaves. Oh, Kyle said it himself. They asked Kyle, did you set up Jeff Christensen for Trey Lance? And he said, no, I didn't.
Said
I don't know
no.
how he
Yeah.
did it. So
Yeah.
Kyle admitted it, Steve-O. This is public record.
Mhm.
Trey had the 6th most pressures in preseason while Darnold was 28th. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And I guess to be fair, Trey had tied. It was like 6th through 10th. All had 50%. So, but I say only 5 had higher pressure rates, which is true. That's a way to say that so that you're being honest. But I guess, make it sound more dramatic.
Right.
Call me
Right.
clickbait. Call me clickbait. I'm starting to learn some tricks. Rams playoffs.
Oh man.
The Rams, sorry to your buddy Dan Mann, but Rams were just a season early on their run it back talk because they're going to run it back this year, 5-12 again. Rams swept again by the Niners. Run that back, Rams, 5 years straight. Rams, Levi South, Rams. Yeah, get them. Although, and that's not even a team I hate. I don't even have hatred for the Rams. I hate the Seahawks. That's who I hate. I hate the Eagles, and I hate the Cowboys. It's amazing how the Eagles moved up there in 1 year. It didn't take them long.
That's so surprising to me. I'm like, but hey,
But it's
Cowboys,
their
yeah,
fans.
absolutely.
Their fans are vile. They're awful humans. Not all of them, of course, but a vast majority are just rotten to the core. Moster's very fast, not knocking that, but what the only TD y'all had against Philly? Oh yeah, no, it was a great run, but again, it wasn't really a speed run. It was like more power. He ran through some people and juked some people. The quickness is elite with CMC. I said that. The speed, top end speed, it just isn't. It's not elite. It's good. It's very good even maybe, but it's not great. It's not up there with the fastest running backs. But the fastest running backs kind of don't tend to have very good durability either. So let them play straight games. I hope so. But it doesn't sound like it from what Kyle's saying. Offensive line depth sucks. Yeah, it's terrible. CMC versus Rams. Yeah, he was incredible. The pass, the throw, the pass catch, the run, the trifecta. And what made it so great, too, is the Rams had just tried to get him. They made a very comparable offer to what we gave the Panthers a 2nd, 3rd, and a 4th in 2023 draft, this draft, and then a 5th in next year is the 2024 draft. Yeah, 2024 draft. And the Rams gave like almost the same offer, but instead of like this year's 4th, they offered up Akers or something. And they're like, no, we want the pick. And we got CMC. And you get to see at the end when McVay was just heartbroken. And that was the end of their season. Like they won literally one more game after that while they were still in contention. And then maybe one more game when they were out of contention, when garbage time as far as the season goes. But that was a pivotal. That's right when I started this show. Was that next week? Aaron and I did my first show that next Wednesday. So good times. CMC and me started our Niners. This is my YouTube career at the same time, essentially. Well, I guess technically CMC was the week before against Chiefs, but he didn't start and he didn't play much of the second half. And he didn't know many plays, so it wasn't really comparable to what he can do. All my friends from the West, the North, the East, faithful. Let's get ready for regular season. Let's go 49ers. Let's go, Rick. Love it. I'm probably way behind on chats again. Do you see any that I'm missing that I need to get down to here? Because I am not the fastest reader. Let's go here.
Very good.
Bash said I'd be perfectly fine with Harbaugh under the condition Greg Roman is not tagging along. Yeah, I mean, I like Harbaugh. He's a good coach. I just feel like what Kyle did here was a little more impressive because Harbaugh rolled into a pretty solid roster that just Singletary was inept in utilizing. And, clearly, we added Alden Smith, we added Goldson, we added some corners and Bruce Miller. But, so not nothing, but like the core was already in place for that team, whereas Kyle and Lynch built this up from scratch. It just the QB thing,
you can build every position except the quarterback.
and it's like,
And
and
you're
it's
an
even more
offensive
frustrating.
guru.
Feel like we got one on the damn team. It's like, if only we'd moved up to draft one. Well, we did.
Right.
Like, why don't we develop him, Kyle? It's just like he's got
Doesn't know how
set
to
in his head
develop
that Lance
quarterbacks.
can't be good, and it's just like you can't know until you give him the weapons. That was what I mean. That was what I titled this show. I said, I said Lance needs first team reps for a fair
Yeah.
evaluation versus Purdy. It's just not fair otherwise to compare what they've done when no CMC and barely any Kittle. CG says Brock Purdy making the same mistakes he did in college. Yeah, it's just a lot of them were dropped in the regular season. That's the part a lot of people don't realize. Bash says like and subscribe. Yeah, everybody on Rod's channel, like and subscribe. Everybody on my channel. I should have said this a while ago. If you're watching on a browser, open up 2 tabs. Watch us on both at the same time. If you're on a phone, whip out your tablet. Watch us on both that way. So if you're on my channel, check out Rod. If you're on Rod's channel, give me a like and subscribe too. It really helps.
Appreciate y'all.
We're all in this together. It's harder to build with mediocre, high picks this team than the team that's had multiple seasons with top picks. Worst to first happens all the time. Absolutely, yeah. This league, this system is built to tear down good teams and prop up bad teams. And so the fact that the Niners had top picks kind of every other year helps us to look a little bit better than we would have if we had been picking at the back of every round, like we have been lately. So it makes it even tougher to sustain. Randy says, Dan, you have no picks. No, I think the Rams have their first round pick back this year, didn't they? In 2020.
I don't know. I can't even respond on that. I do not know.
I thought they had no. It was the last year of the Stafford trade. It was Laporta went to Detroit, was the last first round pick of the Stafford trade. So Sam Laporta, Iowa tight end to the Lions to replace Hawkinson, who went to the Vikings. He can't hit layups, quote unquote. Yeah, that's tired narrative for sure. He just needs practice. He'll learn how to do that. What do you think about Goofy Dan Orlovsky? Yeah, he's goofy. Orlovsky, we talked about earlier. Shady McCoy, Emmanuel Acho.
If we're talking about Dan Orlovsky, the same guy that stepped on the back end zone for safety,
just like Jimmy G.
Just like Jimmy G. So there's your answer right there.
And I mean, I never played pro football. I doubt you did either. You don't have to play pro football to have good takes. It's just. And honestly, I feel like some of the best coaches played, but weren't the stars either. They kind of held a clipboard and learned from the coach. But Orlovsky's bad. Very few of his takes that I ever agree with. I won't say none, but every now and then those guys will stop. Like I say, a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while, type of thing. Pause. John Beck wasn't there to change trade mechanics. He went to learn the playbook before Kyle could work with him and stop the damn bullshit. Well, then who was Trey Lance working with the first 2 years as his quarterback coach? Oh, I guess it was Scangarello. Maybe that's who. All right, all right. So my apologies to John Beck if that's the case. And if it's Rich Scangarello. No, Quincy Avery, Kyle cut him off from Quincy Avery right when we drafted him. That's who he was working with up till. And then, Quincy Avery came public with that recently because people were blaming him. He's like, Gotcha. Kyle said no to me.
I stand corrected.
Maybe it's Scangarello, Judd. So I apologize. I didn't mean. Whoever Kyle's or Trey's quarterback coach should have been working on his mechanics from the jump and wasn't. They weren't 5 good performances.
I said the same thing. I'm like, I pulled that out of a hat. Pause. But I just don't understand the 5.
People are saying Graham.
Mm-hmm.
Flew all over the field.
I wouldn't be upset if we was.
I think it'll be Oren Burks. Sounds like who they put in there. But, these things change.
We shall see.
And I'm no expert. Just Stuart Swigert just told me that Jalen Graham will be. Okay. Who's Stuart Swigert? Probably a player. CG gets a lot of players on. know if you listened to me this morning or not, but Brian Baldinger said he didn't think Sam Darnold was good on Sunday. Boom. There you go. I mean, I just don't think Sam Darnold's good, period. I'm not going to believe
and
it.
Baldinger watches tape. So,
Yeah.
Hey. Breaks down things. What did outside of the throw that he did to Bell, what was so good about what Darnold? What did he do that was so much better than what Trey did? Because narratives continue to get changed, and I
He
just
had
be
a nice
wondering,
sideline
like,
throw right off the bat.
outside of that throw,
It was, and it was tight coverage. It was a nice throw.
absolutely.
I mean, I know he airmailed one for sure that was badly overthrown towards the end. And they threw one that was almost picked. Or was picked. I forget.
Almost picked. It wasn't picked because he didn't have a touchdown
almost.
or an interception. So that's why when I hear he had a better game, and I'm like, what's better? I don't understand. He had one good throw. Outside of that, what else did he do? But,
Grant just reported Purdy 10 of 13, 1 TD, 1 pick six. Trey 4 of 5 and Darnold 3 of 4. And Purdy's TD was just like Trey's TD in the preseason game. Oh, really? As a tipped interception TD?
Oh, Raiders practice. Raiders
No.
practice. Yeah.
No.
Had to be.
No, he's saying now.
Oh,
today? This is today. I've never seen Purdy. So I'll say 10 of 13 looks good to me. That's over 70%. That's
but another pick?
Another pick? We're getting them every day. I get it. But I am encouraged by Purdy's completion percentage. I mean, assuming they're not all deke and dunks, which is a lot of what we saw in camp. It was a lot of short in the flats and short over the middle. But still, I like 10 of 13 regardless for Purdy. So it sounds like maybe Purdy's getting a little better. We'll see. Hard to tell just from stats, obviously. But
true.
Brian Baldinger is realistic. He looks at the film. Yeah, I like Baldy some. Not as much for QBs, but obviously for linemen, I like him a lot. He hit that like button. Yeah, thanks, thanks, Gina. Appreciate that. It helps. And subscribe too, for sure. I'm getting close to 500, which is my first monetization threshold. So if you're on the fence, like hit it. Even if you're a hate watcher, if you like watching me to hate me, it'll keep me around longer if you give me some subs. People numbers all over the place already. Okay, so
I agree. Who cares? Just what your eyes see, go from there.
No, but he's probably saying different reporters are reporting different things too, which happens with practices. Again, they don't have multiple angles. They don't have slow-mo. They don't have zoom. They don't have rewind. And they don't have an announcer telling them what happened. So it's a lot easier to make mistakes at practices, whether they're camp or now. Just set the record straight. I don't dislike Brock. I'm not sold on him. Interviewed his coach. He's made good stuff, but I want more than a feel-good story. Yeah, lots to like about Purdy. Just I worry about his limitations, and that was before the injury. But I really like him. And I love his intangibles. I mean, God, the guy's got between the ears. I say he's a mental giant. Incredible leader, decision making. All that stuff. Timing. Jordan Watkins. I can put CMC as a speedster. Quick running back. Yeah. He doesn't compare to Raheem for speed, that's for sure. Looking at previous runs, he's more shifty than I thought. Yeah, he's super shifty, super quick. He gets yak, but a little more running away from people than running over. Like Adebo will run you over. Right. Why act like people didn't have khaki pants? We need to bring. The Niners used to wear them all the time. That's for sure. Raheem is one notch faster than CMC, but I'll take that with everything's. Yeah. I think Raheem's 2 notches faster, but that's fine. Raheem and Breida is really fast, but yeah, I mean there are all these kind of smaller backs that get injured. So let's go Caleb Williams, Stetson Bennett, with all their hype. They're Johnny Manziel. Yeah, the Rams are hyping up Stetson Bennett, but the Rams D is trash. It's like Aaron Donald and. I guess they got back John Johnson, their safety they let go to the Browns a while back. He's pretty good. But name another defender on the Rams. Yeah, 5-12. You heard it here, folks. First, Trey had more time than the other preseason QB 3.2. Stop talking crap. Well, a lot of that is because of him rolling out and avoiding pressure. So no,
Judd, you could have fooled me. You said that you were a Trey fan at the beginning. You could have fooled me by how you talk about him. But hey,
how people betray themselves.
Being objective on both guys, that's one thing. But you can't say you're a fan of somebody and totally trash them with arguably every take you speaking on. That's just it's real. It's
we got vibes. Jets gang in the house, and people saying Lance needs to play. First off, that's Purdy was good in preseason last year with backups. Purdy was so good that we had him at QB3, Jets gang. So, he should have had a chance with the ones to show what he could really do, because he was definitely not our third best quarterback in 2022. I think he was better than Jimmy and arguably better than Lance, I'll say, because I just don't know there's enough evidence to compare him to Lance. Rate these picks are coming, expecting defense to get plus 18 ints this season. Yeah, I think we had 20 last year, so I'm thinking like 25 is what would be my guess. I think quite a bit more with a better secondary and better pass rush. Hargrave's going to be huge. I think Hargrave could be Charles Haley 2.0, but in a good way. The way Charles Haley killed us in the 90s going to the Cowboys. I think Hargrave could be an Eagle killer coming to us here 30 years later. Sam was a better QB. Oh, well, okay, Jets gang. I'm sure you're not biased.
Right.
Still love their number 3 overall pick. Yeah, even though we just got him off the street and he took $3.5 million guaranteed. How many good QBs do that, my friend? I'll tell you, none. Any decent QB is getting $7-8 million bucks. So minimum. Jimmy G got 23. Come on. People think, oh, the QB wins. James says,
this is
Trey had one throw worth of dams. And so this Sam. No, Trey had more than one. And he had one that was dropped. And he had the great one that wasn't. And he had a couple other nice ones on that TD drive. Obviously not the TD pass itself, but there were 3 or 4 passes on that drive that were all Fumagalli. Forget who else. I think Snead got the first to get it, like first and goal inside the 10.
The jump throw.
Yeah, I think there was one more too. So no, it wasn't just one. There was one that was extremely nice that Purdy can't make. Yeah, that one. But hear what Jed's saying. I can't keep hearing Kyle didn't run the Chiefs, shut down the game. They wanted Jimmy throwing. Yeah, that's true. Tyrann Matthew said it after the game. Thank God they stopped running because we had no answer for that.
Absolutely.
Kyle outsmarted himself there. He also chose to give Jimmy the reins. The fourth quarter. There we go. So let's feed in. Okay. So it's going backwards doesn't quite work though. Harbaugh wouldn't have effed off Trey. Probably not. He definitely was better with quarterbacks. He definitely was good with Alex. Got the best got Alex Smith being from a bust to being able to be traded for a second and third round pick, and got Cap to the Super Bowl and to the NFC Championship the next year. So no doubt about it. Unfortunately, they stopped building. Tackle was a glaring need, and they didn't draft one. That's a scary thought. Our O-line has 0 depth. I'm very worried about that.
I totally agree.
Chalk Talks in the house saying Purdy 14-7, Darnold 5-6, Lance 4-6 from Jack Hammer. Not trusting other reports. They all hyped Lance up for the world and saw before. Well, okay, so
all reporters are.
So Grant said 4-5 and Hammer said 4-6. You're really, sometimes there's a sack and they don't call it a sack, and that's why maybe Lance threw an incompletion after a sack where Grant called it a sack and Hammer didn't. It's not like it's agenda driven necessarily. If you've been there, you would understand these things happen really fast. That's the other thing that's different in the game. You got 45-second play clock in a game. It's like 10, 15 seconds in practice. And it's not like one or two people. It's like wholesale substitutions going on. So anyways, 14-17, that's radically different than 10-13 though. So maybe there was more sacks for Purdy too, because I told you he got sacked a ton in camp. So again, this is not necessarily some kind of agenda talk, but I appreciate you reporting that. Thanks. We like all information. So I don't want to be ignorant. And I don't want to be in an echo chamber either. So I appreciate that. So Jordan was saying, was the question asked of another named Rams fan defensive player outside of John? Yeah, John Johnson and Aaron Donald, and then I think you can name their middle linebacker Ernest Jones or something like that. But like really, the rest of their defenses, a lot of them left. Ramsey left, Wagner left, Leonard Floyd left. Even Nick
I'm here
Scott
to tell you right
was
now.
not even really a name. He's only a name because he smacked Debo that cheap shot in the NFC Championship game when Debo didn't have his head turned and he laid him out. We thought he was injured. So many Greg Gaines, Ashawn Robinson. I mean, they lost so many. I got the slide here somewhere. Here we go. I know that, they picked up John Johnson. That was it. But yeah, it's a lot of people. I kind of already listed them all off. So they added Sony Michel, but Sony Michel retired anyway, so that's not even right anymore. Let's go back to Rod's stuff. That's more important. But also, we've been going a while here. We've been going almost an hour and a half. Should probably try to start wrapping things up here. I could use a little break. Also, got Bash and I are doing Balling with Bash and Ted at 3 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern. So be sure and check us out here in about half an hour. Rod, obviously Rod at Rod _ Cali 247 on Twitter, at Sports Laugh and Chill with Gina V now, and then at rodcali.com for his merch. And then Get the Belt.
Get the
I'm
belt.
going to get the belt. Get the belt pod with his auntie. Mean auntie. What's her name? What's her first name?
Auntie Kim.
Auntie Kim.
Auntie Kim. Yeah.
She said, "Spare the rod, spoil the child." Oh,
you ain't lying.
Don't spare the rod on Rod.
She's a Navy. She's a Navy woman, so they don't play. So she's definitely, she's one of those for real.
Don't spare the rod on Rod, Auntie Kim. Give that boy the business. Damn. Boom. Boom, bap, bap. Love it. That's great. That's good stuff. All right. Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered most everything that we wanted to. Rod, thanks so much for coming on, man. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
As always.
Yes,
Quick
sir.
notice, but and thanks everybody who tuned in. Great audience participation. I always say great guests, great audience. You helped carry me the way our number 2 run game and number 2 D carried Jimmy Luggage. So I guess that makes me Jimmy G in this scenario. Just kind of okay to help you win when things are bad, but probably hold you back when things get really good. So,
for real. Sports Lab and Chill.
Start looking
Mondays and
for the
Wednesdays,
next Purdy or Lance in this scenario. But I appreciate everybody. I hope I got to everybody. I think we did, and a lot of fun. And I'll just say peace and go Niners.
Later, y'all.